Peace, loves. Thank you so much for joining me here in this moment. My name is Christina. Welcome to the channel. So today I'm going to talk about learning the price of being asleep and being in a space where you refuse to pay the price for being asleep. Now, this is important because on your journey to health and wellness, you're going to have to muster up some willpower. You're going to have to be motivated even when you don't feel like it, even when you are tempted. You are going to have to position yourself to be in a space where you can continue to endure, continue to tread lightly, continue to illuminate your mind with wisdom, continue to seek anything that is exuding life. See, there's so many advancements in technology that are being made, but I always will say this and, will ground myself and root myself in this knowing that we as humans are the most technologically advanced things out here. The fact that we're creating this technology, there's so much about the human race as a people where we get to see our greatness being exuded by through our creations. And so it is in our creations that we get to experience life. We get to walk in the likeness of our creator. And a part of this is how we engage in the world, how we show up. If we're showing up to be a miracle in someone's life, to recognize that we are miracles and that we're entitled to them. This is very, very important along this journey. So you have to be aware of what the price to stay asleep is. The price to forget your role in the kingdom. The price of ignorance. This, I feel, is amazing fertilizer to really keep you motivated. Because once you know the price of staying asleep, and you position yourself to where you are refusing to pay that price, you can only be destined for greatness. And what this looks like to me, I'll give you some examples. This can look like researching the implications that food has on our biological makeup. I'll say that again because I butchered it. Researching the implications that food has on our biological makeup, the implications that food has on our cells, on our genetics, to become observers in our lives, to see and observe the actions of our fellow counterparts, to bear witness to life, the truth of life, not what we want to believe, but actually look at what life is showing us. Making sure that our eyes are wide, that our ears are open, that our thinking faculties are working properly. This is us coming into our awareness. And the more aware we become, the more we empower ourselves. See, when I transitioned to veganism, a great part of my transition was rooted in research. I don't know, overnight I just became so fascinated with this concept of flesh eating and how I've gotten caught up in that culturally, and it made me question my reality as it pertained to what were the moral implications of what it was that I was doing and how it was weighing on my spirit, and I didn't know it. It had me looking at my reality in the sense of wow, there were points and times where, I questioned things in my reality and I made shifts and changes. But this is a big deal because I know that what I am looking at here is not only something that is impacts me, but it impacts my culture. It impacts the way that I engage with people. It impacts the way that I see life. And I had to acquire so much knowledge, so much truth that for me it became life or death. For me, I knew that the only thing that was hindering me on my journey was myself. It was my own thoughts, my own beliefs. It was my own desire to be ignorant, my own desire to perpetuate cognitive dissonance, to hide under a pillow as if all of my troubles were going to go away. That if I just ignored it, see, I was, a part of my journey of veganism started about 8 years ago. But for the first 2 to 3 years, I would go back and forth with meat consumption and dairy and eggs and eating the byproducts. So, what I noticed was when I would go back, I would experience detox. So I would just really feel how these food items made me feel, how it made my cells feel. And it didn't feel good. It didn't feel good knowing that I had educated myself so much that I chose something that I knew wasn't good for myself. And I thought that if I continued to do it, and ignore what I knew, even though it was sitting in the back of my mind, that it would go away, but it didn't. It only made that part of myself more angry. Looking at myself as though I know that I have the capacity to do what's right, but I'm not doing it. So how am I going to get there? And when I got to this point, I realized that I needed help. I needed help. I needed to position myself around people who were doing it and who were doing it well. I needed to open myself up to the fact that though I had educated myself, there was something that I didn't know that wasn't clicking for me. And for me, that was experience. So it's so important for us to illuminate our minds with knowledge and then go out and get the experience. And this creates a wisdom for us, so that we recognize that it has nothing to do with our individual selves, but there's this cosmic mosaic that is just at play, moving and shifting and guiding our every move. Our every move. It costs so much to be a sheep. And we see that day to day, people giving up their rights. People giving up their sovereignty. People sacrificing their health and their wellness for the sake of staying asleep, for the sake of staying in ignorance. I was reading A Course in Miracles, and basically, let me see what it said because I wrote a note. The only thing of value in the world is whatever part of it you look upon with love. See, we have to be careful at what we are projecting value onto. We have to be very careful at what we're projecting value onto. And I'll say this, it's okay to be on the journey and to be in the observer's seat and observe yourself doing things that, you know, a part of you wouldn't want yourself to do. It's okay. I actually had a conversation with this guy a few weeks ago, and we were talking about that exact subject, and he said that he just sees it as burning off karma. You know, you have these desires and you go out and you experience it, you burn off your karma. You realize as you're living in that desire, what the truth is. You know, you become illuminated once you get past that. See, when you're boiling up with desire that you just never get a chance to express, then you really don't know. And it can take some time to cultivate an energy where you can be in a space of completion, but it takes time. And so a part of our journey is to actually go out and express the desires that are on our heart. That's a part of our journey. So it's okay if we have things that we love, or we feel like, oh my gosh, I'm just obsessing over this thing, it feels so good. Express that. But it feels so much better when you can be in the observer seat and know that you're just observing this action taking place. You're practicing a level of non-attachment. You're practicing a level of non-attachment. And when you do this, you realize that in each and every moment, you are creating as you go. You are creating moment by moment, you know? Get to a place to where you start to value your health and your wellness. Get to a place where you start to value prosperity and seeing people win and seeing people happy. Get out of this overcritical mind state. Get out of being distrusting of others. Get out of self-loathing and come into a space where you remember that your creator will never, ever, ever let you forget your worth and your value. And that your creator is always manifesting events and opportunities for you to remember who you are and your position. If you're still watching this, you know that health is a part of wealth. It's a part of wellness. It's a part of prosperity, how we show up in this world, how lively we are, how soulful we are. These are gifts from our creator that we get to wear, that we get to embody. And we embody this, it just pours into us effortlessly when we're in a space of receiving. And we get to that space of receiving by cultivating our energy, cultivating our mind, cultivating our bodies, having a sustainable movement practice, getting our energy moving and flowing, doing things like yoga, going on walks, running, jumping, dancing, expressing ourselves through movement. And then going within, being in that space of introspection, sitting, meditating, being in stillness, being in silence, so that we can actually hear, whatever it is that we've prayed for or affirmed, or just be in a position to where we can just receive, relax enough to receive this cosmic energy that is all around us. The reason why I'm here in this space speaking about these things that I'm speaking about today, the reason why I'm at this state of awareness is because I didn't want to pay the price that it costs to be a sheep or to stay asleep. I knew that if I wanted to be where I am now, that I had to move my body. I had to work out, even when I didn't want to. That I had to see my body in a new light. I had to see myself as capable. I knew that I had to eat more fruits and vegetables. If I wanted to connect more with life, I had to become a consumer of life and a producer of life. I love A Course in Miracles because, they just have lines in the book that you could just meditate on. You read a sentence and it just becomes a whole affirmation. And one of them that comes to my mind is, we give as we are given. And so a person existing is a person being in their gift, a person shining their light, because we are giving. And it is through these bodies, these vessels, these vehicles, that we express our consciousness, that we express our awareness, that we project that onto the world. And so we can look at people and look at them as leaders or as prophets or as sages, because we know that in them giving, the way that they are giving, what they are giving is reflective of something that is greater, something that took some type of intention, something that might be a little bit complex and not understood by most. Because if it were, then we would see the majority expressing and embodying these things. So we want to make sure that we educate ourselves. Sometimes on this journey, people will try to tell you to not focus on the bad things. But to be completely honest, a lot of us were birthed out of trauma. A lot of us were raised in chaos and destruction. So we know it like the back of our hands, but we might not understand it. So get your understanding. This comes from knowledge and experience. So I'll say in this sense, if you're raised in that, you might have the experience, but you don't have the knowledge. So then you learn about racism, you learn about redlining, you learn about gentrification, you learn about, there's so many different things. You learn about these things. So now you have the knowledge to pair with that understanding, and that again creates a wisdom that you can then use for the forward progression of your life. So I always advocate, do your research on food as it relates to your genetics and get the experience in. Try things out. Do some fasting. It won't hurt you for once in your life to really remove things and become a standalone person. Who are you when you remove all of these material things from your life, these things that you think that you love? You realize that it all has one common denominator, and that's you. You. It's not the thing that you love, it's your response to it. And so when we can find things that we can respond to in a way that creates this energy of health and wellness and just cultivation of more life, then oh my gosh, what a life you'll have. What a life you'll have. So learn the cost of sleep and refuse to pay it. Refuse to pay it. Knowledge is so powerful. It is so powerful. Is there anything else that I want to share? Okay, I'm gonna leave this video at 20 minutes. Thank you guys so much for joining me here in this moment and being present with me. as I am growing through my gift and sharing it with you guys. Peace and blessings to you all. And, may we all be uplifted in this world and understand that we are all walking, talking, breathing miracles, and that what we ask for, that what we pray for, what we affirm are just statements of truth that come from our hearts, and that those statements have an expiration date of when they will be answered and that they will come to pass. So definitely keep the faith in whatever it is that is on your heart, and know that it is going to come to pass. It's going to come into fruition. And yes, just know that you were created in love, for love. We are vessels of that. So continue to share your light, continue to express yourself. And yeah, more prosperity to you, abundance to you, peace.